Welcome, my name is Colleen Tauke and I'm the sewing specialist here at Fons Porter. In this Quilting Quickly tutorial, I'll show you how to put together some fun little blocks called Hip to be Square for a table runner. If you'd like to purchase our pattern, please visit our website. We're going to be using 5-inch pre-cut squares today, and you can see in the little table runner behind me, they're a fun coordinated group of fabrics, and we can cut down through a large quantity of them once and then mix them up and put together squares. So what I've got here is what consists of a block within this little table runner. It's 2 squares, a small and a large, the same print, and then 2 rectangles, the same size of the same print. And when I was putting this together and I was trying to come up with a way to make a really quick project, I was playing with the 5-inch squares and thought, well, what if I just cut down through it and then just rearranged them? And it works really fun. So what we're going to do is we're going to be cutting a 1.5-inch wide strip off 2 sides, and then we're going to do a little rearranging to create our blocks. So what I've got here is a stack of fabrics. There are 22 fabrics squares used in this. Only 21 are actually used in the table runner because it's 3 rows by 7, but because we have to pair things, we need to start with 22. 1 won't get used, so you'll just have a spare. But what we're going to do is take, and I've stacked up my squares. I'm going to cut a 1.5-inch strip off of one side. So I'm going to come in here and cut down through the stack. I placed this on a rotating mat so that I wouldn't have to reposition my squares, and I can just rotate it, and I can always then be cutting from a safe direction. I'm going to cut 1.5 inch on this side, so 1.5 right there, and I can go down through that and make my second cut. Now the fun part here is that by simply rearranging, if I take the very top layer here to the bottom and shift this one to the bottom, I can force myself to be scrappy. I have a hard time just scrambling them up. Sometimes I have to pair everything. Sometimes you just want to have a little fun. So by doing this and then looking, saying, I've got a square, that's what my block needs to look like. And I can force myself to be scrappy. So now I just assemble, taking off the one layer. I would take it to the sewing machine and assemble those pieces. Now see, next one is the navy in this position, but I've got a second fabric as my rectangles. So I can just go down through the entire stack and create the blocks that I need for my quilt. Now the assembly is fairly simple. Bring those blocks back. You want to just be a little aware of your positioning of your seam allowances. So I would add the square to the rectangle here and create a 1/4 inch seam here. And then same thing here, right sides together, 1/4 inch seam down. I would press my seam allowances on this probably to the darker fabric, but just pick one direction, stick with it through the entire project. So here, if I'm going to just press these seam allowances probably to this direction, this one the other direction, that way I'll have opposing seams and I'll get that nice little sweet join together here so that these 2 bars just kiss when they come together. So this is the block that you're going to create. You go down through all your blocks, create those fun little varied 4 patches, and lay them in a 3-row by 7-row design, and you've created the little hip to be square table runner. Great for a beginner project, great for a gift or a housewarming or a shower present. So if you'd like to see more of our Quilting Quickly tutorials, please visit our website. Thanks for joining me today.